good. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, February 24th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? Yep, that makes sense. We've got here our moon card in its upright in combination with our 5 of wands, swords in its reversal. So here's the thing. There's something very important that I see. Like I keep on telling you guys this. There's something really important to recognize. 2025 is the year of honoring your no. It's a lot of this like honoring your absolutely not. And so one of the things that's very important and significant is, and I was reading for this 2 days ago when we did our last reading, there's a little bit of this reality check energy here in a positive way, right? There's a little bit of this energy that we're seeing that is coming through as it relates to what feels like it is practical. Now, one thing to recognize and keep in mind is, and I think that this is really important, there's something very important to be said, and we had to just talk about this. You know, what is shadow work? Shadow work is integrating the conscious and the unconscious mind, right? When we try to avoid things, like that's where our boogeymen live, right? It's where we like, and I'll tell you right now, that was a lot of that Pluto and Capricorn energy was a lot of that, like, if I don't look at it, it'll just go away. And Pluto in Aquarius is here to say that doesn't work. Like it doesn't work. Like when you say, if I don't look at it, it goes away. It's like, no, now it lives everywhere, right? Now it's like, and we talked a little bit about this with a lot of those lessons that was coming through as it relates to Aquarius energy. Like, what do Aquarius often have to understand? Energy cannot be created and destroyed. When we try to avoid something, right, when we don't want to face it, it becomes the thing that we're energetically afraid of, right? It's like the blind spot that becomes like, you know, it's like, this is what we talk about why we do healthy shadow work, because when we confront our shadow, when we confront our unconscious self, it doesn't mean we become it. We embrace our fear. We look at why we fear the things we do. We're able to put words to it. We're able to explain through it. We're able to understand it. And it's in those moments that we are able to, and this is what we talk about when we say facing our fear. Facing our fear is looking at our fear and saying, absolutely not. You know, like that's the thing, right? And you've already, you know, like you ever met someone like that? We've all met someone like that. They go through this is what we talk about with entitlement, right? And this is what's so painful when someone's entitled. This is why it's painful. It's sad when we see someone that's energetically entitled, because when someone does not get used to having someone say no to them, they don't understand the gift that no means, right? Like when we love someone, we say no, but we say so because we care about them. When we're afraid of them, we don't say no, and we let someone this is why we watch some energy and they're like, yeah, it's great, everyone agrees with me. And when you see someone who's like, everyone agrees with me, you're like, you poor thing. They don't realize it, dude. Nope, they don't realize it. Trauma is a powerful drug. It's that space of navigating through the energetic blind spot. And here's the thing about it. I told you, and we're going to keep talking about this Leo full moon, because I got to tell you how beautiful the vision of it was. That's why they kept on saying to me, the Leo full moon will bring you to your knees. And the reason they were saying that is because when we come to our knees within the self, right? Why do we come to our knee? Because we find that it's an honor, right? We come to our knees when we feel like it's an honor to be able to recognize and do something, right? It is respective of the weight that we carry and the enormity of that. And it's recognizing the burden, right? It's not easy. It makes us want to cry sometimes when we're in those moments, but it's a pause, and then we get back up and we proceed, right? But and this is why I keep saying but, with a lot of the coming out, and this is what I got to warn you guys about. It's the same exact energy that can wallow in hurt feelings, right? Like the same energy that can bring you to your knee and say, it's an absolute honor to do something. I'm not perfect, right? And recognizing the faults of the self, and feeling the love in the universe in those moments. It's the same energy that can bring forth a lot of questioning, right? It's the same force that says, why is this happening? Why is this occurring? And that's the thing. Like, if you come into those spaces of looking at everything from a point of reciprocity, it's understanding and recognizing the journey of the self. Now, I see this, like, there's a lot of frustration potentially being released right now, because I keep on seeing that either one of two different things happened during that full moon in Leo cycle. The whispered apology, coming into a state of acknowledgement, right? Someone taking their hat off and saying, I feel like I owe you an apology. And that can be beautiful, right? Because that can be transformative as it relates to recognizing how far we have come, right? I kept on telling you, the Leo full moon was the moment of the whispered apology, right? Working through something that may be hard to admit, seeing a blind spot, and then feeling the joy of being able to recognize something that now you can work on, right? It's not easy. You have to, I told you, that's why it's warrior energy, because it takes a warrior to recognize a vulnerability. But I feel like I have to keep saying this, but I apologize that I have to keep saying this, but we have to talk about it. There's always a flip side. In the same energy that can create that whispered conversation, if someone is not willing to do that work, it can be like someone getting blindsided. It can be like someone who's just throwing themselves against a wall and saying, why does this hurt so much? Why does this hurt so much? And when you have those moments and you see that someone expressing potentially those moments that are deeply frustrating, when you see someone doing something that causes pain to themselves, and there's nothing you can say until they recognize and acknowledge it, you just want to pull your hair out. You just want to, stop. But you can't, and that's why I keep on seeing, that's why it was working through surrender. And it means surrender as in surrendering and saying, wow, I've come a long way. This is heavy. This is hard. Or they're never going to get it. It's like that moment where you're just like, but it also feels reaffirming in those moments, because you understand that the frustration comes through because you want another person to see something, right? It's like that moment. It's like saying we want different things. It's like they're, it's like never the twain shall meet kind of. It's like, and I'm telling you right now, it's that Uranus and Taurus, which is like, it can drive you crazy, but it drives you crazy because it's important, right? And being able to put words to it helps through it. And the one thing I keep on seeing right now, and I knew that this was going to happen, we've got a lot of and that's why I say it's really important to feel like you're in a good place as it relates to the work that you're doing on the self, not holding on to the past too tightly right now, but being able to recognize and work through the lessons of the past in the present. This is what's allowing for a lot of these productivity moments across all of the frequencies, and it is having a different impact on the frequencies. I'm going to draw the center card before I get into the breakdown of it, because we're moving towards a shift, and these things are happening. Yeah, I like this. Okay, so we've got here our King of Cups. And we love the King of Cups, center of the spread right now. You cannot fake work on the self. You can't fake work on the self. And I keep on seeing, and I can kind of, and I gotta tell you right now, there's something I'm recognizing as towards the difference between saying something and embodying something. right? We talked about this. Energy that's in a healthy space doesn't try to teach lessons. They embody the lesson, right? We don't, you know, and we talked a little bit about this too. Like this is like this like full moon and Leo energy, right? Like when we say to the universe, I'm going to teach them the lesson, the universe is like, I got some lessons too. Universe is like, I got all kinds of lessons. You know, like, I got all kinds of lessons. But you know, a lot of that work that we identify, it's hard. It's painful, right? It's not easy. And that's why, you know, like that, and like, it's messy. Like healing the self is like, it's not for the weak, because it's not about just embodying the good. It's also about navigating through the bad, right? And I keep on seeing that, I keep on hearing something that's coming through all of the frequencies as it relates to bypassing, right? You can't, some things you can't avoid. You've just got to navigate through. And that's why I keep on seeing, if there's something that happened during that full moon where someone tried to come back into another person's life by bypassing the work that needed to be done, right? We often sometimes have these moments where someone's like, what if I just give it some time? Maybe if I give it some time, I won't have to have that conversation. We can just bypass it. I keep on seeing this energy saying, absolutely not. Time does not change things. Time, like a good energetic lesson, and this is a thing, and this is what's no longer, happening. And they're saying it's no longer happening because Pluto is no longer in Capricorn. Sentimentality is not going to erase the work needed in the lesson. Like the energetic sweet spot, I keep on getting, in the past, it was far too easy to have the like eraser that it comes through, remembering that it's hard to remember pain and only sentiment remains. And here's the thing with Pluto, the nice thing about Pluto being Aquarius is everybody's remembering the pain too. Everybody's remembering, like that's why I keep on hearing Scorpio. Like that's why I keep on hearing Scorpio is like raising their hand right now. When someone gets sentimental, like they're like scraping their desk in the minute someone starts waxing poetic on something and is going like, wait, I was there. Like I was there. That was not sweet. Like that, it's easy to make it look sweet in hindsight, but don't forget that sweetness is not the same. Like you have to take both in equal measure, right? And so for a lot of the energy in separation right now, I just keep on seeing that this is the energy in separation that says, make no mistake. The energy that wants to put in the work doesn't try to bypass and avoid things, right? It's not like it's and it's saying to me, someone saying like coming towards a space of accountability, saying like, again, having a conversation with someone that says, I feel like I have some explaining to do, right? Versus those experiences of someone that puts up too much of a hard exterior and is in that space of saying like, can we avoid that conversation now? Can we forget that happened? I feel like the thing with this Scorpio and Aquarius is everyone's like, no, you don't get off that easy. Like you don't get off that easy. But it's not about getting off. It's about understanding and recognizing where the work is. And I keep on seeing a lot of energy finding, like everybody's like the Aries going direct is affecting the throat chakra because it's allowing for another to find the words, to be able to articulate upon what needs to be navigated. And for a lot of the energy in separation right now, one of the things that we spoke about or that we saw that is occurring, this is having a big impact on masculine and feminine. For feminine, I keep on seeing, and bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For a lot of the feminine energy, I just keep on seeing the same messages coming through effectively, wherein the feminine is articulating and saying that the masculine energy that is for them is not going to is going to have that healthy relationship with the past. It's going to allow for that observational point. And that's why I either see feminine moving towards healthy new energetic connections with masculine that's able to identify and recognize, that is self-aware, right? Because this is the feminine energy, says the masculine energy that's self-aware has done the work on the self that allows for the ability of being able to build in a healthy space. You cannot fake that work. You cannot replace it. It just needs to be found. It can't. I even see the energy being in the space of saying, I can help someone working through lessons, but they must articulate the fact that they're working on the same things, right? Like that's the difference between building into another's potential versus building into another's reality. It doesn't require us to be perfect. It means that we're both actively participating in the same work, right? And and that's why I see even now, if there's something about the feminine navigating someone from the past coming back towards them during that Leo full moon cycle, and it didn't feel like someone taking accountability of that work, I feel like that was a final closure point on something, right? Like sometimes when someone comes towards us and they still amplify the fact that they're exactly where that we left them, like it can be that moment of saying, I like that is not a force that desires to change. And the beautiful thing is I keep on hearing the feminine energy say that's okay. It's not the energy getting like it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating, but it's reaffirming. Right? It's like it reaffirms why one had to potentially move away from a circumstance in this, like for the same reason. For masculine energy, I see the same exact lesson coming through. I see masculine going through experiences in separation, and it's not that we're ever tested, but there are moments that sometimes feel like they test us, and because I keep on seeing that masculine is also working on these circumstances or situations where, again, someone tries to come back to them from a place of sentiment instead of addressing what needed to be energetically addressed. Like if we come into separation points with another person and we're doing that work, right? Like we're working into that space, we identify that work, and then someone tries and we tell them like, this is what I need in order to move forward. And then another person says, hey, remember how nice it was when we were X, Y, and Z? Masculine's like, yeah, it's nice, but you're not bringing forth something that shows that there's change. You know, I see a lot of the masculine energy that's finding new ways of communicating as it relates to wanting to be in a space of feeling emotionally seen and protected, right? So I tell you right now, I see a lot of new potential partnerships that are opening up during this time because this is the energy that is recognizing what can be worked on versus what another person feels just fine about. And I keep on seeing someone say, I'm not going to force someone into a space of embodying a lesson if they don't have any idea what I'm talking about, right? Like, well, for a masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is why I keep on hearing this energy is rowing, right? A lot of this work that we're identifying here, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in this space, feeling the excitement of being able to pull with someone that feels like they're coming in, like moving in the same direction of you. Like this is why I see so much of that energy looking at the past, finding nostalgia there, but also understanding something. Because I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy was like, yeah, the reason that relationship was going in circles is because when me and another person are pulling in different ways, the boat goes around and around and around. It doesn't go anywhere. I want to see how far I can go, like on the ship, when we're both pulling in the same direction, right? So there's a lot of eagerness that I see that is opening right now for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, because this is the energy that's feeling the excitement of being able to like not have to argue about what direction something's going on and just seeing how far something, like how it feels to move in directionality with someone that makes something easier instead of harder. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, I just see that this is a lot of energy, very, very sentimental. Like there's a lot of sentimentality, and I think that this has a bit to do with that Pisces full new moon energy that we're coming towards, right? Finding a place to put the emotion, finding a place to put the words, feeling the excitement. I keep on hearing, and this is why I keep on hearing that the energy deep within divine union is deep in Gemini, because they keep on saying when words fail us, we need a new language, right? And I keep on seeing that there's energy right now working to heal wounds of intimacy, but by finding the words, finding places. I told you, what do we do with all this fish? Because all of this energy, we've had much Pisces energy from the start of the year. We get creative with it. And so I keep on seeing that this new moon, like next month, big uptake in creativity, exploration, expansion, right? But also working through frustration at the same time. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread for today. There it is. I'm not surprised to see it. This is our 3 of Swords in combination with our Death card in its reversal. Now, this is really important, right? We talked about this. Healthy healing is not painless. A good manifestation is not one that requires one to disassociate in the process. And this is why I keep on seeing that some of this energy is working through the frustration of navigating an energetic connection where it feels like another person is potentially trying to bypass it, right? This is how a karmic wounds feel like happens, right? When we're invested in relationships just for the good part, right? And then we take off when something gets messy or difficult. Like this is how we come into those spaces of navigating. Like this is how karmic hurt happens, right? Like we heal because we find the strength to navigate difficulty. And we embody working through that together. We don't care about each other because it's just like when we say, like when we build into, that's why we say for better or worse. like you know what I mean? Like it's not the fact that it's always easy. It's that when we say that we're invested, we're rolling up our sleeves. You know, healthy love feels like the energy that rolls up their sleeves and says, I'm here to get messy, right? I'm here for it. This isn't a mess, it's a blessing. So I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy, this is why some of the energy deep within divine union is working through, and I keep on seeing, almost articulating to one another those spaces or those relationships where it feels like another person doesn't have the same ability, right? That isn't in the same space. I can see the energy like working through those wounds. Like this is the energy actively healing from those experiences where another, like, and I keep on hearing like there's a lot of this Neptune energy deep within divine union, because this is the energy that's unpacking the past, because they're healing it in a deeper degree, because they're feeling the fortification of a partnership that embraces them in the space that another person wounded them, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep recognizing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, I keep on hearing that energy say, I was not ready. And this is very important because this is, I told you, this is why this energy is in Aquarius, because the ability to acknowledge and see something in the past that you couldn't see before, this is the energy that says, I wasn't ready to see it. I wasn't ready to embody that lesson. That's why I kept on trying to like open that door that it would not open. That's why I could not, like, we cannot force our perception. But this is why a lot of that energy is looking back on something, and it feels like there's a lot of compassion to the past version of self, but also a lot of note-taking, because this is the energy that looks back on the past and says, I see those places that I was hurting myself because I was not ready to accept what I was receiving or what I was not receiving, right? We often come in those spaces. We stay in things that are not for us, and we say to ourselves, why is this happening? And it's only afterwards that we say, well, the mistake was not in the intention I was bringing forth. It was the observation that strong emotions blind us from being able to see the reality of situations, right? This is what we talk about honoring our emotions, because when we honor our emotions, we're not blinded by them, right? When we honor our emotions, we don't allow the emotions to see what they desire to see instead of what is. And there's something I keep on seeing that's happening right now, which is the energy saying, I can love you with my eyes open, right? That says, I don't need to exist in a fantasy of what is occurring. This is why this love feels like it's real, because this is the energy that says, I love you with my eyes open, because I don't need to wax poetic on something that's hurting. Like, I don't need to like create something romantic out of something that isn't good. It's just good, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is in and that's what's interesting too, because I keep on hearing like this is the energy that like I see this, like this is the energy that is in a way saying goodbye to romantic, because they're saying that romantic to a certain extent is navigating the pain of longing of something that you're not receiving. So this is the energy that's almost feeling the full, like they're getting like love full in the face, and they're saying, you know, they're looking back at something and saying that past version of self was romantic, because they're saying they were romantic, because they're saying that, again, this is why Venus is in Mars, being like, that wasn't romantic. That was me in pain trying to romanticize something, right? Like sometimes when we're in pain, the only way we can remain in pain is if we find a way to romanticize it. So I see a lot of that energy going, that was trauma. Like, that was trauma. That wasn't romantic. That was trauma, right? Well, for masculine and feminine, in separation right now, I keep on hearing this energy say, never again will I find trauma romantic. That's why I feel like this energy is saying, I've got the ick. Something that I told you, some of that energy, something that they used to find romantic, they're sick of it. Some of this energy, I keep on hearing this energy in separation that's saying, I've got the ick, I've got the ick. It's not romantic, I'm sick of it. It's not romantic, I'm sick of it. I don't find it cute. I find it like I told you, some of this energy in separation's already in their manifestation. They just haven't met the person, because a good amplification of being in your manifestation is not having a tolerance for something that hurt you when you're able to identify and recognize and have the feeling of what you know is for you, right? Continuing to get clarification between our moon card in combination with our 5 of swords in its reversal. There is some like heavy alignment that's coming in right now. We're moving towards it, because it is like full. Oh yeah, I can see clearly now. I keep on seeing this energy, and I think that this is what's really important, because this is what I see is happening as it relates. And it's, again, Scorpio's helping here. This is all of that Pluto and Aquarius energy, right? I keep on seeing that this is energy that says, I don't just move in the directionality of where I feel emotionally compelled to move. I ask the emotions why they feel so strongly about something, right? And it's giving me I hear the energy, looking at the emotions and actively listening to the emotions to determine whether the emotions are saying, I was waiting for something, or I miss it, right? Right? Like if the emotions are trying to linger in the past, this is why I keep on seeing the energy that's getting clarity as to directions. Because if the energy says, I was trying to stick around because I was waiting for something to change, then Scorpio is saying, come with me, right? You're already articulating something that you were staying in because you were hoping for the potential of it being something other than it was, right? Versus the energy that says, I miss it, but it didn't fulfill me. This is the energy saying, articulate on what was missing, right? Because that's the sense of saying, all of it is pointing to one direction, which is, again, you can't return to the past. The past gives the map and the guidance points in terms of what one is seeking moving forward, right? There's a lot of this. It's giving me a lot. I told you, there's a lot of this energy in separation. I keep on hearing Aries is showing up and telling all the emotions, get in the car. Like get in the car. Like, what have you been doing? Get in the car. We're going, right? This is a little bit of that Aries energy that's waking up, and it's like surveying. I keep on seeing Aries is waking up and surveying the damage. Aries is working up and is showing up and going, what have you guys been doing since I've been gone? Like, and this is the thing, Aries can see, like, look, Aries has been in Cancer. So he's like, Aries is like, I was taking a nap. Like, what have you guys been doing? What is going on here? Why are there fish everywhere? Like, because this is Aries showing back up, and there's all this Pisces energy. And Aries is like, we got to get moving. Like, I don't know what you're like, what are you doing? Continuing to get clarification on this between our Five of Swords and its reversal in combination with our King of Cups and energy. Here's Neptune for you. All right. One card to clarify. Yeah, and this is the important thing. Like, so here's, and this is like, oh, this is interesting because we've got Three of Wands and Nine of Wands energy here. So let's talk a little bit about, like, let's talk a little bit about this, like, and we got to talk about this too, because there's something really important to do with Aries and Gemini right now, because that's where all of our oomph is coming from. Like, a lot of the activation right now is coming from Jupiter in Gemini, and that's why I feel like we're getting so much of these messages about the Gemini energy for the energy deep within divine union. And the similarity between Gemini, we talked about this in our last reading. Gemini and Aries share one, like, very defining trait, which is Gemini and Aries energy believe that failure is an illusion. Like, straight up, like, go ask a Gemini and Aries if they've ever failed at something, and I guarantee you those signs will look at you and say, no, I've never failed at anything in my life. I just gave up on something. I just got tired of doing it. Right? like there's no when one commits one's endeavors to something, it's about the perspective of what it takes to move towards what is for you. And so that's why I keep on hearing that a lot of that, like, a lot of the Aries energy, they don't get, like, Gemini and Aries don't get caught up too much in sentiment, because they sometimes look at sentiment and say, yeah, that's the tail of the comet. That's trying to hold me back. Like, that's the energy. They look at emotions like the tail of the comet, and they're like, yeah, the emotions are a drag. Like, emotions are a drag. Like, Aries and Gemini come here understanding this. They're like, those emotions, man, you get too much in your head, you can't do anything, right? You think about it too much. You gotta, Gemini's always quantum leaping into itself. Like, Gemini's always like, who do I have to embody to navigate this situation? Aries is like, I just need to get out of myself, right? So there's a little bit of this, like, there's a lot of that transformation quality in both of those signs. And so that's why I feel like there's going to be, now that Aries is going direct right now, a lot of this, like, I want to say it's like, it's FAFO energy, but in the best way possible, because this is the energy that says, make no mistake, I can tell the difference between sentimentality versus actuality. I can tell the difference between someone who waxes poetic on a feeling versus someone who's willing to do what it takes to maintain an energetic feeling, right? And when we're not consistent, it's often easy to be sentimental, right? It's often easy, and this is why we talk about when someone's too much lost in the past, it's because they're not often doing enough in the present to make it a reality, right? Like, this is when we say, like, don't wax sentimental too much. And it doesn't mean that you can't have a healthy amount of sentimentality, but there's something to be said about when we aren't able to Like when we're not healthy in our sentimentality, it can sometimes feel like it's limiting us because we're always looking back and saying, I miss my moment. I miss my moment. It's like, no, you didn't miss anything. Now is your moment. But because you're so caught in the past, you're letting the present slide by you, right? So I feel like there's a lot of this energy here that feels like it's playing catch up. And that's why if you're having a little bit of that hurry energy and like coming back online right now, well, yeah, like it's been like this is and I need to stress there's something also coming through really important about the message that good is better than perfect. Perfection is also an illusion. And when we come into that space of waiting for the perfect moment to do something, this is how we sometimes never find it. We don't find perfection, we make it, right? And that's why I keep on seeing like a lot of this energy is like embodying that work, and it's giving them that sense of just like ripping Band-Aid off kind of energy. Continuing to get clarification, especially, and this is important today, especially for masculine energy. I will point out there's something very important. And if you want to look at the deck, I need to point this out. We've been noticing there's been a lot of I want to describe it. How do I explain? There's a lot of tete-a-tete energy I'm seeing right now. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because what I mean by that is in the last few days, if you look back at the spreads that we've been receiving, and you can go to my Substack if you actually want to see the photos of the spreads, we've been having a day with like lots of masculine energy on the table, right? Not so much feminine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. And then the following day, a lot of feminine energy. And this is what we actually see as it relates to the activation of counterpart energy, because one is moving in one way, and then feminine is coming into reactivity point, and then masculine. So there's a lot of activation that's occurring as it relates to what feels like healthy counterpart energy, right? We don't have to be in parallel in those moments, because when we're working towards healthy counterpart, it's not that we're always embodying the same qualities and characteristics. We're able to dovetail, right? We find something that feels harmonious to us. And so one of the things I'm seeing here, especially, and I already know what this card's going to be with the King of Cups and the Three of Swords. This is really, let me see it. Queen of Pentacles, okay? I see some energy right now in separation that is looking back on connections and saying we were too similar. Welcome to Healthy Shadow Work. Welcome to Healthy Shadow Work 101. I see some energy looking back on a past situation or experience and saying the problem with that relationship was we were too similar. Our wounds are too similar. We were working through the same problems. When we're not in a healthy space, and this is what we talk about with mirroring. When we're mirroring in a positive way, it brings out the absolute best in us. When we're not in a healthy space and we allow ourselves to get triggered, and then we're around someone that triggers us, stand back, right? The ability to bring out the best can also be ability to bring out the worst. And when we're not actively working on healing from the same lessons and we're too similar, it can be the worst possible experience, right? And that's the moments we look back with hindsight and go, we were both in a really bad place, and we were both working on the same lessons, and we were each other's. Like that wasn't nostalgia. That was wounding, right? Like we and this is why we often, like when we see, sometimes when we're in a healing space, we see someone that reminds us of a past version of self, we step back, right? We go, I remember you. I remember you. I remember that. Nope. Right? Like, because it's in those moments, and I keep on seeing this here. I keep on seeing energy. And this is what I meant about energy right now that's gotten the ick in separation. Something that they used to find compelling, they no longer find compelling because they're looking at something that they used to find romantic and saying it's tragic. That thing that I used to be, that thing I used to find sweet is tragic because I understand the source of it. Right? And I keep on seeing, and this is how some of this energy is that's letting go of something. I can see this energy saying, I still carry a lot of emotions to something because it was a tragedy, right? When we meet someone at the wrong time, it's tragic. When someone hurts us because they were in an unhealed space and we recognize that they're still deeply unhealed, we don't get mad about it. We say it's tragic, right? We don't embody it. We look at it like it's a tragedy. And there's something about honoring the emotions that is allowing a lot of the energy to heal moving forward and looking back on something and either getting some healing, I keep on getting a healing balm that came through during the Leo full moon that allowed for some sense of healing in terms of acknowledging the tragedy of an experience and identifying the work that's happened in the intervening time, or having to let go of someone and saying it's tragic, but I have to, because one sees that another person is not embodying the changes necessary to make that relationship become healthy, right? Everything is solvable, but we have to take the same, we have to be recognizing and embodying the same work, right? And I keep on seeing some energy that's letting go of the past by looking back on something and saying, I care about that person, but they don't think there's a problem there. And that problem is pervasive. And until they're ready to do that work, you can't force them on it. Godspeed on your journey, right? We can hold someone dearly, but we can also let them go in the process. Because I keep on seeing this energy saying, I'm carrying the love I feel for all of that with me as I move towards what I recognize is counterpart that is invested in doing the same work, embodying the same lessons. This is why I keep on seeing this energy that is coming into divine union, that's looking back on something and saying, I wasn't ready. I stayed in that bad situation for so long. I mourned that person for so long. I wasn't ready to accept. I wasn't ready to accept it. I wasn't ready to accept the fact that we weren't doing the same work. We were not invested in the same lessons, right? Often we hold on to things because we're not ready to accept the fact that there's something outside of ourselves. It's easier to say, oh, I'll just change, right? Like, we can't be in Gemini all the time because, again, a healthy manifestation does not require one to disassociate from oneself on the journey of moving towards it, right? And there's some of this energy that looks back on the self and says, wow, I see that past version of self. Look at them trying to change to conform to an impossible situation. Look at that person trying to disassociate and tell themselves everything was fine, even though I knew in my heart it wasn't, right? Healing comes from moving forward and carrying the weight of that. I see that that's the energy that now feels both like, I feel like that energy is coming online because it's like something from the past is reemerging because you're carrying it differently, right? While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, I keep on hearing this energy saying, you can't fake a real one. You can't fake a real one. I keep hearing the energy go, you can't fake a real one, right? But that's the thing about it, is the reason they're saying that to one another is because that is the gift they give each other, right? That's the energy that says you can't fake a real one. And for you, I always try to be real. You help me actualize, right? You see me clearly, right? That's the energy that says, like, when we're in a space of being in a healthy place with a counterpart, that's that moment that says we're ready to face everything. Bring it on, right? Because this is the energy that says if there's something that's hard to talk about, we just haven't found the words for it. Like, this is the energy almost putting their effort in the hard space because they feel emotionally stable in the partnership to be able to heal a wound of intimacy. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Swords in combination with our Death card energy in its reversal. One card to clarify. Nine of Cups in its upright. Now this is beautiful because, and here's the thing, this is the Pisces energy. This is the difficulty with this experience we're having right now. There's so much Pisces energy, and no offense, absolutely no offense to Pisces. Pisces energy, we love you. We really appreciate you. Your ability of containing multitudes is amazing. But for those who don't have a lot of Pisces placements right now, it's a lot, okay? It's a lot because it has to do with feeling something unprecedented, feeling something that feels messy, not having Like having too much stuff, having too many emotions, not knowing what to do with them, it can make us feel like a mess. And especially with the Virgo retrograde coming, I'm going to say it again. Everybody say it with me. We're going to say this throughout the whole retrograde. You are not a mess. You are a work in progress, right? When we're in healthy partnership, what we say to one another is, I love to watch your lotus bloom. I love to watch your journey of becoming more yourself is like a constant opening, right? I'm not here. And then we talked about this, the heavy message that was coming through during this alignment that we're approaching is a healthy partnership is one that we move together with intention and we abandon expectation, right? And what does that mean? That says that we are blooming together, right? When we build towards intention and abandon expectation, we say we are becoming. We both know the progress that we're hoping to achieve. How the manner in which that happens, I don't want to cultivate it. Watching it emerge is the gift, right? And that's what's happening right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. That is the message that's coming through. What is helping the energy in separation heal? I abandon the relationship was entirely built on expectation and no intention, right? When we're trying to build relationships that don't go anywhere, that just serve the self, that feel good, and we say, I'll be here as long as it feels good, but I'll depart when it's not, when it doesn't feel good. These are the relationships that are all expectation, what another wants to see in us, what they want us to transform into, without any clarity on where it's going. So that's why I keep on hearing that this is the overarching message that's coming through during this alignment that we're approaching, which is, again, what was the message of the last alignment? The message of the last alignment was a healthy manifestation does not require one to disassociate on the journey of moving towards it. The other message we have that's coming through with this alignment is the healthy relationship is one that is focused on intention and abandons expectation. The unhealthy relationship is the one that focuses on expectation and refuses to provide intention, right? Can't heal that when you observe it. You just have to recognize it and heal from it. Continuing to get clarification between our 3 of Wands in combination with our 9 of Wands, and it's upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. It's like you can't change it. Two of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. This is what's allowing for some of this. You can't, when you experience that, there's no changing it. You don't change it. Some things you can't change. If that's the nature of a relationship, you have to accept it in order to embody to stay in it. And this is why I see some of this energy getting frustrated in something that they used to find romantic, because this is the energy that says, I don't see that as romantic. I don't see the desire of waiting for someone to put intention towards a place that they're giving purely expectation to as romantic. Because that's the energy that says when I'm staying in a relationship that is entirely expectation with no intention, building upon the hope that something changes, then I am also doing something wrong because I'm building towards potential. We don't stay in relationships with the potential that the core foundation of the relationship will change into something that it is not. That's when we're trying to jam the square peg into the round hole and saying, why isn't this working? This is the energy that says, let my eyes see it. A good manifestation. When we're building towards healthy manifestation, we don't try to force something that is into what we desire it to be. We say to the universe, help me see. Help me see. And I keep on seeing that there's some energy right now letting go of past connections that may have looked good on paper, may have looked like everything that they dreamed, but never felt like it because it was all about the surface, but not about the feeling, right? While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is the observation of potentially staying in relationships of that nature too long in the past. Having the breakthrough when you're building into one that feels like you're rowing together. And for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is potentially trying to help others with this point, right? I can see this energy working through something. Almost like, I almost see some energy seeing this in others' relationships and almost talking to one another about it to say, you can't articulate that to someone if they don't see it. Right? Like I see the energy, like I can see the energy being like, we love each other by loving each other's choices, right? and we build toward like helping each other along the way. And I keep on seeing that there's something that's happening for a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union as it relates to relationships, which has to do with whether one feels like another is on the same page, right? Like there's a lot of that work that's being embodied there. Continuing to get clarification between our Nine of Wands in its revert and its upright in combination with our Queen of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. I love it. Oh, these center cards today are beautiful. This is the Aries energy. Here it is. I love it. And you know, again, I want to encourage you. You know, we've been having this Fool card pop up. They weren't in the last reading. It was in the reading before. But Aries, like, this is the get in the car energy. This is like this is the ignition switch. Now, the thing about it is, like, the Aries energy right now, it's hard for Aries to be around all of this Pisces energy. Aries is in Cancer. It's too wet. It's like it's like you can't. It's like you ever try to like light a fire like in a damp environment. It's freaking impossible. It's like ugh. And then there's like all this fish, and so I keep on seeing this energy. It really does. Like, if you don't like the energy in the room, get out of the room. This is a lot of this, like, finding, like, and I'll tell you right now, I can see some energy. I see some energy in separation going, I am so done wallowing. I am so sick of feeling like this. I'm so sick of being nostalgic. I got to take a break. Like, this is the energy going, I need to go clear my head. And sometimes that's also a part of your manifestation. Like, I see this energy going, like, being like, yeah, how did you move towards your manifestation? Well, I got sick of feeling like that. And that's where Scorpio goes, you're welcome. Scorpio goes, I'm going to make this as unpleasant as possible to, like, motivate you into, like, doing the thing that you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Scorpio's going, I'll be the whole problem and you're welcome. Because, like, but that's the thing about it. It's a lot of that space of, like, and this is because of Uranus and Taurus, right? Being annoyed is also motivating so long as you're not projecting it out onto others around you, right? Like, when we're in a space and we're not in a healthy space, when we're annoyed, we try to make it everybody's problem, right? But, like, when we're annoyed, like, I'll tell you right now, like, we awaken when we're like, I just got sick of doing something that wasn't, like, it was, like, like, when we, like, wallowing doesn't get anything done, right? You get tired of it. I can see a lot of this energy, like, trying to, like, it feels like shedding. It feels like this energy that goes, I need a change. I need a change of scenery. I need a break, right? It's sometimes in those moments that we step out of our comfort zone that everything changes. And I got to tell you, we've got a Mercury retrograde coming up. And this is the only thing about it, with the Mercury retrograde and the Venus retrograde together, don't be hard on yourself. You got to start loving yourself right now. You are unique. You are special. Rejection's an illusion. Embrace, I keep on hearing, embrace your quirks. Those flaws, when shine, become facets. And I keep on seeing that if this is energy that feels like they're healing from someone that was too quick to pick them apart, remember the breakthrough. What's a healthy relationship? All intention, no expectation. An unhealthy relationship. Why are you wearing that? Why are you doing that? Picking away, chipping away at each other's egos, right? I just keep on seeing some of this energy saying, I don't find it cute anymore. I find it unhealthy. Like, I can see some energy going, I was ready to brush something off in the past, and now I would never brush it off. I see some energy looking back in the past and being like, those were the first signs something was moving in the wrong direction. And this is why I keep on hearing Scorpio saying to them, it's never going to happen again. A good manifestation is one that changes you before you find it. And I keep on seeing this energy that's worried about changing, like maintaining progress. And this is like the energy that says you couldn't go back if you wanted to, because you no longer find it romantic, right? While for masculine and feminine energy, that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that say, like, I see this energy saying, I can see something clearly now that I could not see back then, but I could not see it back then because I wasn't ready to see it. We awaken. Sometimes awakening is not awakening to the present. It's awakening to our past. It's seeing something in the past that we couldn't see before. So I just keep on seeing this energy that's healing in that process, because this is the energy that says, I'm seeing something in a different way. And now I'm just excited to be able to build forth. Like, sometimes we feel like we're going in circles with someone because we recognize that when two people are rowing in different directions, you start going in a circle regardless of what you say. And I see this energy saying, I'm excited because I'm in a partnership. It feels like we're rowing in the same direction. We've got intention and we're letting go of expectation. And that's why I keep on hearing a lot of this energy deep within divine union saying, you know, as it relates to partnership, you are, again, saying to one another as they're feeling, working through those flaws and saying, those flaws, I see you turning into facets. You do not need to be perfect here. You're watching you evolve is the highest honor, because that is what love is, right? When we say to each other, we love each other, we say, I am enamored in the process of your becoming. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in combination with our Nine of Cups and its upright. Yeah. And that goes for you as well, okay? And this is the thing with this Four of Pentacles in its reversal. That compassion that you have to others, you have got to embody it right now. You cannot say to yourself, okay, I got to be compassionate to everyone else, but not me, though. The rules don't apply to me. And I know you want to right now. We all do this. We all hold ourselves. I mean, when we're in a good space, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. Okay? And that's the thing. I got to point it out. You can usually tell if someone's in a positive pathwork or a less positive, because, you know, and I can see this to a certain extent. I see some energy saying, I hold myself to a high standard. Some people hold themselves to a lower standard. Like, and I can see this energy that's healing in separation by looking at someone and saying, I look for the best in someone. That person looks for the worst. I look for, like, I try to improve the room. That some people see what they can get away with. Like, it's giving to me. This is like, I see this energy that says the same force that reaches upwards, another person will find as the identification as to not try at all. Right? Like, it's, again, it's not about, it's like being the vibe instead of letting it slide is what I keep seeing. And I feel like there's something that's important about that, because I see even now it's helping a lot of energy as it relates in separation, determine what direction they're moving towards, right? The difference between, you know, embodying the vibe, being the force of change that one aspires for, versus letting it slide, someone who kind of looks for a reason. And again, here's the thing. When we're and we talk a lot about this here, this is why we say it's not healthy to wallow. It's not, you cannot do things when you feel bad, because here's the thing. When you say, oh, well, I did that because I was hurt, right? The guides are clear on this. The guides have been saying this like wild. If you say to yourself, well, I can't be held accountable for that because I was hurting when I did that, you will unconsciously look for reasons to be hurt. When you say to yourself, well, I acted I wasn't me, I was acting out of character because I was hurt, that is your character. That is who you are. That's not out of character, that is who you are. What you're really saying is, when I'm hurt, I give myself a pass to do anything. You will unconsciously look around for reasons to be hurt, right? And when someone's in that modality, that's why sometimes the best thing you can do is give someone distance, because that's where you become the trauma, right? What happens if everybody embodies that? If everybody is always feeling hurt all the time and doing whatever they want as a relationality to it, it's exceptional. You're asking for exceptional behavior. Whereas, again, when we strive higher, when we don't say to ourselves, oh, well, I was just, right? When we embody the lesson, when we strive higher, we say, it doesn't matter what you give me. I know how to energetically act. I know who I am. It's not about a reactivity point. It's about, and again, this is a little bit of that gift of the Leo full moon, right? This is what we talk about with dignity, which is that the dignity of the self is understanding what we stand upon. And what we stand upon is not conductive of what others give us. When we hold ourselves to a standard, we stand taller, right? Because that is the gift that we give each other. Like that presence of self. We talked a lot about this, how sometimes the Leo journeys are misunderstood. And often there are those who feel like the Leo journeys are about conceit. It's not about conceit. They're about dignity, right? The gift of positivity that we give by trying to show up in our best way, that is a gift for those around us, because they opens up the opportunity to another to say, I'm offering this to you and you can join me here, right? This is the dignity of the self, is the gift that we give to one another, because it is the security in relying and understanding who we are going to meet. We're not subjective to the experience, but regardless of the experience. And that's happening across all of the frequencies. Continuing to get clarification, and it's not easy, between our Two of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Fool card in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Not easy. I know. It feels good. It feels good. As we got the World card showing up in its reversal. It's not easy. It's not about easy. Who said path works easy? Who said path works easy? We're not here to do easy things. We're here to exceed expectations, right? And I keep on seeing, like, it's giving to me, like, I keep on seeing that there's something really important that's happening right now across all of the frequencies in relationality to the campsite rule, right? If you come across a mess, do you throw something on the ground? Or do you start picking things up? Do you look for a reason that gives you like an excuse to be your worst version of self? Or do you try to embody what it is that you hope and you see in those around you? And I keep on seeing that there's some energy right now in separation that is looking back on something and saying, and this is what we say sometimes when we look back on someone we care about and say, I care about that person, but we want different things. Right? Because often when we say we want different things, we say the way we perceive the world, we see different things in the world, right? We look for different reasons. How we view ourselves is what we give to those around us. And that's why I keep on seeing, if there's some energy here that's working through some path work in the past, where, I want to say, I just keep on seeing, like, there's a lot of work that's happening in separation right now. And I keep getting the fact that Scorpio is helping with this. Understanding the work that feels like is productive versus something that is a continuation on why something wasn't working. Right? And that's what I meant about the power of the whispered conversation during that Leo full moon. Right? Someone that comes towards us and says, I have to apologize for everything. I'm no longer how you found me. I was looking at things in the wrong way, right? Like, we have those moments sometimes that are fundamental because another person comes into that space of telling us how much they've changed, which allows for an ability of something to be possible. But, we can't force that change in another, right? And sometimes, far too frequently, we look back and something comes back from the past and it just reaffirms the fact that something hasn't changed. That another person has gone deeper in that journey, that they're more embodying the reasons why you had to separate or move away from them. And those moments, they can be devastating, right? I told you, the Leo full moon will bring you to your knees. Like, you fall down in those moments and say, I wish they weren't in that space. I wish they were embodying the same work. But we also recognize what is outside of our purview to change, because we look at something and say, I would not be able to be the person I am and still remain within that energetic connection, right? the difference between, again, the energetic force that, again, the unhealthy relationship that is built upon entirely expectation, what you expect from another with no clarity of intention as to where it's going. I just keep on seeing a lot of this energy and potentially feeling the weight of that force and saying, I can't move towards something like that, even though there may be a desire for it, because I'm desiring to enter towards something that I hope will change, right? And this is why this is the energy that, like the guides are saying, you're never going to find yourself in that space again, because you're no longer the person that would accept that, right? Like there's like a lot of that energy that feels like, this is what I meant with the ick. Someone being like, go no further. I no longer find that appealing. It's disheartening. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, when I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's looking back, I don't mean that this is the energy that's running back to the past. This is the energy that's looking back within the self and saying that past version of self wasn't ready to accept it, right? And that's the thing. When we're in an unhealthy relationship, the force of love will help us stay in places that we are not meant to be, right? The desire to try to fix something. But this is why the guides say it's okay to desire to fix something, but one must make discernment points in recognizing if another wants to fix it. Because if not, it feels like you're working towards nothing. It's like the energy that just disappears because you're constantly trying to fix something and another person's getting affirmation about the fact that they don't have to change because you keep giving them something and they're going to say there's no problem there, right? Like that's the energy that looks back and suddenly says, yeah, I was pouring my energy into something where it was like there was no hope of change because there was no desire to change, right? And it can be difficult in those moments, but that's when we start to love ourselves because we can understand the reasons why. I keep on hearing, I love myself because I understand the reasons why I remained, right? Like that is the force of love. The force of love that says I was trying to change the impossible. I was trying to change the self because I was embodying something that was not inside my purview to change. And I was trying to accept that maybe I could change myself to better suit it. Right? This is how we heal. We start to forgive ourselves for those moments because we recognize that our intention does not sometimes lead us in the direction that's best for us. That's why we have to integrate intention with discernment. While for a lot of this energy right now, working through that space of discernment, right? I keep on hearing this energy deep within divine union going, I wish I could have this conversation with this person. Right? Because when we're not in a healthy space, it can sometimes feel like we're spinning our wheels or getting frustrated because we have to work through a lot of that. I feel like it's interesting. I feel like a lot of the energy deep within divine union is actively bypassing, but they're bypassing in healthy ways because they're being able to articulate upon the limitations of some energetic connections with counterpart that understands that process, right? And so again, I keep on seeing like being able to find a space to be able to articulate upon that feels like it is restorative because it's a reaffirmation of basically saying like, you know, this is where the wound came from. I can't change it, but I can understand it and I can heal it with you. Continuing to get clarification between our Fool card in combination with our Four of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Judgment card in its reversal. And this is important. Like, here's the thing. So like a lot of this like world energy in its reversal and judgment in its reversal. Just because the world is not ideal does not mean that you do not have to embody the ideal, right? Working in that space, we all recognize this. This is how we find our higher self, right? Because a lot of this work that we see, and I'm going to tell you right now, like the thing about it, and I just kind of want to like tell you, I don't want you to be, comparison is the thief of joy. And I want you to recognize that you are absolutely unique, but you are also non-exceptional. I want you to understand that the nature of the universe is such that we are all incredibly precious. But what makes us unique and what defines us does not make us better than one another, right? It is the force that brings us together that is the power of love. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's something really important about, you know, recognizing and identifying what feels like, I keep on hearing the productive conversation, the productive argument. Because when someone feels like they're not pulling in the same direction as us, then we have to ask ourselves why, right? And everything I keep seeing, especially for the energy and separation right now, this feels like I can see this energy like feeling like they have to push through this wall of the self in order to find what is for them, right? And it feels a little bit like stepping off of a cliff, right? I can see this energy going, I have no idea what I can expect on the other side of that. But again, we've talked a lot about it. A lot of the work of that Mars retrograde is understanding the difference between confidence and courage. I'm going to say it again. Confidence and courage are cousins. They look exactly alike, right? And often confidence likes to go around pretending that they're courage, right? But you don't need courage when you have confidence. When you're sure of something, you're not being courageous. You're just, you've got that surety. Courage is humble. Courage is the energy that moves forward and faces the fear. When we don't have confidence, we need to build into courage. And so a lot of the work that we've seen, especially with Mars being in retrograde, has been finding our courage, finding our voice, being able to do that shadow work, embracing our fear. That doesn't mean running full tilt towards it, but having a healthy conversation with it to understand what is actionable versus what is just anxiety, right? And a lot of that is that moment of like embodying what it takes and what is necessary. And so I just keep on seeing that a lot of the energy and separation says the only thing standing in the way of the thing I desire is getting over my fear of not finding it. I'm going to say it again. The only thing that's standing in the way of finding what I desire is overcoming the fear of not finding it. And this is when we say to the universe, help me see. Right? Because that is the energy that says that is the force. That same feeling is what is going to protect you. That is why you're going to find it. This is why being able to embody that space of embracing the fear and saying that that is the fear that's trying to protect me is why it's like I hear the guide saying that is exactly the reason why you're going to be energetically protected, because you're moving in a moment of holding yourself preciously. While for masculine and feminine energy, like I hear the energy saying they've already arrived in their manifestation because they're holding themselves preciously. While for masculine and feminine energy that's coming into divine union, this is the energy that wishes they could rush back to the past version of self and hold them preciously. They're holding that past version of self so preciously now because now they look back and they see that energy like that is the champion. Like when we have arrived at where we are and we found that healthy partnership, then we look back at that past version of self that took all the blows and worked through all those lessons, and we say, that is my champion. I love that person. They made mistakes, but were it not for the grace of them navigating those mistakes, I would not be in the energetic connection that I am in today. Right? So we start to heal our inner child when we enter a healthy partnership because we can see something that they cannot see, and we wish we could guide them through it more effectively. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now, I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy deep within divine union is trying not to be too hard on themselves in the process of evolving. And a lot of that work, it's hard because I feel like there's a lot of this force of frustration. It feels like what you're navigating, you feel insignificant under it, right? There's like a lot of those moments that you just feel like there's not enough of you to go around. And this is why I feel like the counterparts are helping each other, because they're saying to each other, your job is not to change the ocean. Manage your drop, right? Just concentrate. Don't get overwhelmed. Focus on your drop. Focus on your portion. Do what you can, right? Trust in those around you to do the same, right? This is how we navigate that. and it's hard because you want to be like, I wish I could do more. Be like, I know you do, babes. Like, I know, but you just manage your drop, embody the lesson, and let that work speak for itself in the process. Final card for today's spread, between our world card and its reversal in combination with our judgment card and its reversal, is Knight of Swords. And here it is. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, this is like spirit activate. Here we go. I mean, this is the air. Like, look at this. Look at these three cards down the line. And I'm telling you right now, we've got the King of Cups here, the Fool card, Knight of Swords. I like this energy because all of this energy here is like the trifecta I'm getting of, again, and we talked a little bit about this, emotions, right? Emotions and excitement that harmonize. And we talk a bit about this, right? When we're not sure what to do, and this is why we try to work in the space of the healthy ego, right? When we're not sure which direction to go into, when we've got our higher self that's trying to guide us forward, and then we've got our ego that wants to go in a certain direction, it's like when they converse to each other, they can agree on the destination, their coordinates. Like the healthy coordinates aren't on this, we can't agree. Right? So being able to recognize and identify what the ego wants to do. Like when the ego, like this is what we mean by following our bliss. Following our bliss does not mean doing whatever feels good. Right? Because that's usually when the ego is like, this feels good. And the higher self's like, please stop doing that. Like, following our bliss is not easy because it's finding that harmonization point between where the higher self and the ego say, on this we can agree. Right? And some of that force has to be directionable. And I feel like even now, like there's a little bit of that productivity as it relates to navigating frustration, right? What one desires versus what one sees. You build upon that via the understanding that there's always a path work forward, right? This is the gift of like Gemini and Aries, which is, again, good manifestation is just recognizing and saying to oneself, failure is not an option, right? Like, failure is an illusion. I just need to see the path that brings me to where it is that I aspire and desire while maintaining the sense of self in the process. And so I keep on seeing that this is like the prayer to the universe that says, this is my portion. This is what I'm going to try to do. Help me see the rest, right? This is what's in my control to change. This is what's outside of my control. Help me find that path, right? And when we're working through that space of anxiety, this is how we channel it into excitement, because the universe loves us. When we insist on something, the universe always says, if you insist, I'll give this to you, but it's like, but when we're in that space and we're navigating it healthfully, we're usually doing it cautiously and trepidatiously. And again, a lot of that space, and this is why I'm going to say even now, if someone's coming towards you in a way that feels like it doesn't make sense, or it just feels like it's a repetition, don't match energy, right? Do your part as long as you're communicating your emotions effectively. Don't teach someone a lesson, embody that lesson. Be the force of change. Because everything I keep seeing here is having to navigate emotion and frustration and finding breakthrough along the way. And sometimes it's in those moments that we have to say to another, like, and again, when someone says like, you're disappointing me, and having to say to another person, well, if I'm disappointing you, what were you expecting? They're saying, don't react, answer the question that is begged. Because that ability of, again, remembering that healthy energy can always articulate upon what their intentions are, helps us come into alignment. And something about that work here, especially with all of this Pisces energy, especially like with Aries kind of waking up, everything is achievable so long as you're don't get ahead of yourself is what I keep getting. Because I keep getting the message that the energy is very slippery. So being able to not rush, but be focused and intentional is going to help you get your point across today. Okay, even if you want to rush ahead, because I'm telling you, that's some of the Aries coming back. Bottom of the deck. I know it's hard because here's the thing, like everybody now is feeling like a lot of this hurry up, right? But that's why when we feel hurry up, we have to do the opposite. We have to embody patience. Like working in that space of just being grounded, being practical, taking one like write those lists, build those plans right now. Get everything done in the order it needs to get done. Don't feel like you have to boil the ocean. Manage your drop. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my website. Please remember, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website, so I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Wheel of Fortune card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to, as a monthly subscriber, over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library. Now, it's not necessary to catch up for every class, but now's a great time to join because you've got lots of time to catch up to take any of those classes before we start in our next class that will be focused on the Justice card. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library. You'll also have access to a one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience, your robust experience, stop you from joining. And even if you are a subscriber on the place where we keep the videos, or if you are a subscriber on the Clock app, I would encourage you to head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel, because there you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online schedule. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal journey goals and spiritual path work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation reading packages as well now. You can purchase those on an individual level per dream or as a as a series. If you purchase the package, I would just encourage you to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key messages and lessons coming through the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again